What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a breaking news video. It looks like Arne Slot, the Feyenoord Dutch 45-year-old manager, will be Liverpool's next manager after Jurgen Klopp. That is breaking news that Liverpool have opened talks, opened negotiations. Just a few minutes before I started making this video, the news dropped from Paul Joyce, Melissa Reddy and a lot of reputable journalists that Liverpool have opened negotiations with Feyenoord over Arne Slot. Let me know what do you think about this managerial appointment. And of course, understandably, a lot of Liverpool fans are a little bit underwhelmed by this story because Xabi Alonso, we were so excited about him, and Ruben Amorim, we were so excited about him as well. But Liverpool started briefing the Liverpool-based journalists yesterday that Ruben Amorim is now out of the running, and sources in Holland indicate the process could move swiftly for the managerial appointment of Arne Slot. And in this video we will take a deep dive, a detailed look into the pros and cons of appointing up Arne Slot as the next Liverpool manager. What are the drawbacks, what are the benefits, what are his qualities, playing style as well. But of course the comparison to Erik ten Hag is obvious and also unfair at the same time. And a lot of people are saying that Arne Slot is bold and he's coming from the Netherlands and he's an overhyped manager, so he will fail like Erik ten Hag. I mean, I don't understand the obsession of some certain sections of fan bases with the appearance of the manager. You shouldn't judge Arne Slot on how good of a manager he is by him being bold. And that's of course stating the obvious, but still the amount of people that mentioned that, it was really weird. So I don't understand some people really. You should analyze his qualities, and we will analyze his qualities in this video. Fabrizio Romano also tweeted literally 17 minutes ago that Liverpool and Feyenoord are currently in good and constructive discussions about a compensation fee for Arne Slot. I understand that Arne Slot doesn't have a release clause, but still he's under contract at Feyenoord, so he would want to come away from Feyenoord and Liverpool have to pay a compensation fee. And some of the reactions are understandable, but you have to also take it into consideration that anyone, no matter who Liverpool would appoint, it would be underwhelming, because Jurgen Klopp is literally the best manager that Liverpool had of the past 30 years. He's literally the best manager in the world. So anybody coming after Jurgen Klopp will be a downgrade. You can't sugarcoat it. But I think Liverpool need to give the new manager their full backing, and Michael Edwards and Edward Hughes, they know what they are doing, because they are literally some of the best people, the smartest people in the football business. And Feyenoord apparently want 15 million euros as a compensation fee. And the Athletic news outlet is reporting that Liverpool are making Arne Slot their preferred choice to succeed Jurgen Klopp. And we have been, talking with numerous candidates, but Arne Slot only emerged earlier this week because Liverpool wanted to be respectful to Feyenoord, who played the Dutch Cup final against NAC, which they won 1-0. So Arne Slot already won the Dutch League last season and the Dutch Cup this season, and they also went on a brilliant run in the UEFA Conference League in his first season, getting to the final with Feyenoord, which was a historic achievement. They eventually lost the final to Roma, but they knocked out Union Berlin, Slavia Prague, Marseille on their way to getting to the final of the Conference League. And that was the first final for Feyenoord in many years. Actually, the 2002 UEFA Cup, where they beat Borussia Dortmund in the final. That was their last time in the Cup final. And Melissa Reddy said earlier yesterday that Arne Slot ticks the key criteria for the Liverpool managerial position, and maybe he doesn't want as much say in the transfers that Ruben Amorim wanted. I think that the Ruben Amorim links went cold because Ruben Amorim wanted reassurances and guarantees that he is going to build a squad in his own image, and he will decide which players he will sign. But with Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes coming in, that was never going to happen. Menis Reddy also said that Arne Slot has a lot of qualities that Liverpool admire. He has a consistent trend of successfully implementing aggressive, dominant football and player development. He promoted a lot of players from the Feyenoord youth academy and integrated them into the first team. Of course, he outperformed his budget at AZ Alkmaar. They were in the title race before COVID struck and shut down the league currently. Approach and the preferred formation. They all suit Liverpool's current squad. So you don't have to bring in a manager with a completely different style of play. Liverpool always wanted a young, ambitious coach who also plays in a similar playing style, high pressing, high intensity, a high line from the defense, and a 4-3-3 formation or 4-2-3-1 formation. And also remember that Feyenoord won the league title last season in a very convincing fashion, and that was only their second league title in the past 24 years. And he also had regular cup runs in the Dutch Cup and in the Europa Conference League. Him getting Feyenoord to the final is also very impressive. So he works well within a club structure, and he's energized the club and the fan base at Feyenoord. So that's why he is a very, very good candidate for the Liverpool managerial job, according to Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes. And the thing is, there are not many really top managers available right now at the moment. So Liverpool signing a young up-and-coming manager who, yes, he hasn't worked outside of the Netherlands, and he hasn't worked with really big world-class players, really big egos, and he hasn't worked in as much of a pressure environment as working for Liverpool in the Premier League. That will be a culture shock for him, I'm sure. But any manager that you appoint would be a gamble. I think the safest bet would have been Xabi Alonso, but he wanted to stay at Leverkusen. Maybe he's looking to get the Real Madrid job in 1 or 2 years. So after Xabi Alonso, every single other manager is, of course, a young up-and-coming manager with a lot of risk. But appointing Arne Slot ahead of others makes a lot of sense because, as I said, he doesn't have to change the playing style of Liverpool. He doesn't have to change a lot of, tactical things. And he's also a very ambitious, very young up-and-coming manager, and he has a lot of other qualities as well that Liverpool really admire. So Arne Slot's Feyenoord made the most tackles in the opposition's final third in the Eredivisie, 93 tackles in the opposition's final third. That means that Feyenoord is really aggressively high-pressing the opposition. They also create the most shooting opportunities from defensive actions, 17 shooting opportunities created, and they also score the most goals from defensive actions, 4 goals scored. So Arne Slot has made Feyenoord into a great pressing team. Even though they are second to an almost perfect PSV Eindhoven team, Arne Slot is a really talented coach that, Liverpool rate very highly. And Arne Slot said it is fine for a coach to have ideas, but they have to be clearly transmitted to the players. And by the way, Arne Slot is speaking almost perfect English, like a lot of Dutch people, their English is very good, and I saw some of his press conferences in English, and he's very, very good in English, so that's also very important. There is no language barrier. So Arne Slot's biggest quality, and one he places significant emphasis on, he believes only 60% is the idea and 40% is how you can clearly explain the idea to your players, to his ability to communicate. His ideas are projected onto the pitch because his thoughts are very clear and his words are carefully chosen. A journalist for a Dutch newspaper, Voetbal International, who has covered Arne Slot's Feyenoord, said that Arne Slot's ideas about the game, they are very attacking, very aggressive, with a lot of pressing, high intensity, a lot of energy, and they can only do that if they are very fit. He always wants to play attacking football. He always wants possession. He always wants a good setup from the goalkeeper to find free space and free players in the midfield. It's no secret he's crazy about Guardiola. He's an example. We used a lot of videos of Manchester City and Bayern Munich. He was crazy about Pep, how his teams create space, how they attack. He's as honest as possible, and so the players really like him. Arne Slot believes his teams have to be intense because it essentially gives them two ways to win. If the quality of their play is lower than that of their opponents, or they are having an off day, they can win by outrunning and outworking the opposition. There is also a recognition of the fitness concerns that come with such an intense style of not just playing but training. He works closely with his data and fitness teams. When they tell him a player's numbers are dropping or they are in the red zone, he will ease off and rest some players, and that's very important. And a former Premier League player, Johan Bartsch, who is currently playing under Arne Slot at Feyenoord, he said he's one of the best managers I've ever seen in football terms, even the best. At the moment, he's the best in the Netherlands. Arne Slot is a great manager. Reece Nelson said that, who spent on last season on loan at Feyenoord. He told the Colney Carpool podcast, he really got me into my rhythm. He gave me a lot of opportunities to play and I excelled. Before the game against Marseille in the Conference League semi-final last season, during training, he told his midfielders to play long balls out to the wingers over the top. Kökçü, the midfielder who is playing for Benfica right now, he was at Feyenoord last season. He was so tired of it. He asked, why do we have to keep playing these long balls? And Slot said he would explain later. In 20 minutes, Feyenoord were 2-0 up and both goals came from long balls behind the Marseille defense. He knew that was a weakness of Marseille. If you speak to the Feyenoord players, and it doesn't matter who, they will tell you that whatever this coach says, it happens. It's remarkable. They have blind confidence in him because what he says comes true. He is also no hardliner or a particular discipliner. He emphasizes positivity when his video analysts put selections of clips together for players to watch, allowing them to scrutinize their own performances. He asks that most of those clips should be positive. In particular, the last one is always positive, so the players leave their session feeling good about themselves. So these are all very good qualities in a manager that I'm really happy about. And he even was interviewed last May, at the end of last season, in a press conference. He was asked about interest from the Premier League because Tottenham apparently were interested in Arne Slot, and he said that the next step for him is working abroad. And the Premier League is the best league and the most attractive league in the world. The Dutch people absolutely love the Premier League, and look at how many Dutch players already Liverpool have. We have Gakpo, Van Dijk, Gravenberch, so the Dutch connection is obviously there. And Arne Slot said that he wouldn't go to another Dutch club after Feyenoord. He would want to go abroad, and of course the Premier League is the best league in the world. He said that he would want to work there one day. And it's also important to note that he already won a league title with Feyenoord last season and the Dutch Cup this season with a considerably smaller budget than Ajax and PSV Eindhoven, and he also reached a Conference League final with a fraction of a budget of some of the bigger teams in that competition. So he is a very, very talented manager. I think that's safe to say. He wasn't a particularly great player, but not many managers are great players. Jurgen Klopp was a very average player, playing most of his career in the Bundesliga 2, the second division in German football, and look what a brilliant manager he turned into. Arne Slot played as a midfielder for FC Zwolle, and they won the second division in 2002. He also played for NAC Breda and Sparta Rotterdam before retiring as a player back at Zwolle, and he won the second division as a manager in 2012 and 2002 as a player. He won 2 second division titles with Zwolle, and when he became the manager at Feyenoord, he won the Dutch League in his second season. In his first season, he got to the Conference League final, losing 1-0 to Roma in a very close game. Second season, he won the Dutch League. Third season, he won the Dutch Cup. So every season, he had a brilliant cup run or winning a trophy. And having a good European record is, I think, very, very important, because Liverpool are absolutely famous for being the kings of Europe but the best English team in European football with 6 Champions League trophies. So I always look at the manager's European record when we sign them. And of course, Jurgen Klopp already went all the way to the Champions League final with Dortmund before signing for Liverpool. Arne Slot went all the way to the Conference League final and also lost 1-0 to Roma. And the next season they were in the Europa League and they beat Lazio and qualified in first place from the group stages. They knocked out Shakhtar Donetsk. They beat Shakhtar 7-1 at home in the Europa League. And then they beat Roma as well, 1-0. But then after extra time, they lost to Roma in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. So back-to-back seasons, 3 seasons in a row, Roma knocked out Feyenoord. That's crazy, because in the Europa League this season, Roma knocked them out in the knockout round playoffs. They were actually in the Champions League, Feyenoord, because they won the Dutch league. They finished third behind Atletico Madrid and Lazio, and they've got ahead of Celtic. They actually beat Lazio and Celtic at home. So Feyenoord had a pretty great record. Under him, they lost one game at home in European football. That is crazy. The only team who beat them was Atletico Madrid. They beat Roma, Lazio twice, and Celtic and Marseille at home, and even Union Berlin. So he has a brilliant record at home. Away from home though, he's not really great, because apart from the Conference League run, away from home, actually Feyenoord have a dreadful record. They only got 3 draws away from home last season and this season, and they lost all the other games. Celtic, Atletico Madrid, Lazio, that's a very tough Champions League group for a club like Feyenoord, who, as I said, have a lower financial budget than PSV Eindhoven or Ajax. And I mean, it's crazy that Roma knocked them out 3 seasons in a row, once from the Conference League, once in the Europa League, and once in the Europa League playoffs. And Roma are already in the semi-finals of the Europa League, so there is no shame really in getting knocked out from a great team like Roma. And I think Arne Slot ticks a lot of boxes for what is required to be a Liverpool manager nowadays. And I think those are playing attacking football, winning a league title with a smaller budget than some of the rival clubs, also having experience managing in European football. And Arne Slot went all the way to the Europa Conference League final, and he also managed in the Champions League, getting into 3rd place and qualifying for the Europa League knockout stages. He also has a great record of developing and nurturing and bringing through youth players and youth academy players, and also being a good communicator is also essential. Arne Slot will have to get a connection with the Liverpool fans, and he needs to be great at press conferences as well. And the fact that Arne Slot is a very honest and very good communicator is also very, very important, I think, when it comes to Liverpool's managerial appointment. And the Telegraph is reporting that Arne Slot appears to fit the mold of a head coach whose priority is to train the players, to set them up tactically, and to coach the team, coach the players. And that's what Liverpool want. They don't want a manager who oversees a lot of the other aspects of the football operations, because this new structure led by Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes, the new sporting director, they would want to be about identifying the right players alongside with the scouting department and sign the right players. And Arne Slot will be, of course, saying yes or no to some of those transfers, but he will be in charge of mostly coaching the players, and that's the kind of structure that Liverpool want to have in place. It remains to be seen whether that will be successful or not, but that's clearly the structure that Liverpool want in place. And we have a very, very good world-class data and analysis team. We have a world-class scouting department. We have a world-class CEO of football in Michael Edwards. We have a very good sporting director. So everything is in place for Arne Slot to be successful if he is a good coach, and he is a good coach. So I'm really, really confident that Liverpool will be successful. Of course, we need to lower our expectations. You can't expect Arne Slot to come in and in his first season win the Premier League, win the Champions League, win the FA Cup, win the League Cup. What we want is play attacking football, be a good communicator, so rebuild a good relationship with the fans, and of course go far in the cup competitions. Try to win a trophy in your first season, top 4, and try to win a trophy. That's the minimum requirement, I think. And if he gets close to that, I mean, if he qualifies us for the top 4 and gets to a cup final, then I think that would be a decent first season. But of course, it also depends on what kind of players Liverpool will be signing. And this also is a big move for Michael Edwards, because his reputation is on the line. He's absolutely genius at identifying players that he recommended for Liverpool to sign, like Sadio Mane, Mo Salah, Alisson, Fabinho, Wijnaldum, the list goes on. Is he world class at identifying managers as well? We will find out, but I think he's more knowledgeable than any of us. He's better at this than any of us, so I trust Michael Edwards, who has overseen the greatest era of Liverpool in the past 30 years. So up the Reds, come on Liverpool. Arne Slot, welcome to Liverpool if you sign. I'm really excited about this new era of Liverpool Football Club next season. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.